This content is produced by Darknet Breaker, a cybersecurity and dark web education brand. All videos, posts, and content are strictly for educational and awareness purposes only. We do not promote, support, or encourage any illegal activity. Our mission is to expose digital threats, protect online users, and educate the public about cybersecurity risks in the modern world. Stay ethical. Stay protected.
In a traditional market, if a seller defrauds you, you can call the police, reverse a credit card charge, or confront them in person. On the Darknet, buyers and sellers operate in total anonymity. Millions of dollars are exchanged outside the bounds of law, identity verification, or physical enforcement. This illicit digital economy is massive, moving hundreds of millions of dollars annually through specialized browsers like Tor. In conventional illicit drug markets, stability is maintained through physical territorial control and face-to-face trust relationships. Neither is possible on an encrypted overlay network, where users are represented only by pseudonyms. To solve this, these platforms have adopted a system of Yelpification. Algorithmic feedback structures serve as the primary digital substitute for physical trust. Vendor reliability is quantified in plain sight. A seller's profile displays their aggregated customer feedback scores, written product reviews, and total transaction volume. Because cryptocurrency transactions cannot be reversed or charged back, buyers are forced to rely entirely on these ex-ante or before-the-fact reputation assessments. These aggregated ratings dictate a vendor's total sales volume, their ability to charge premium prices, and how long they can stay in business before being flagged as a risk by the community. Beyond customer reviews, vendors establish credibility through cryptographic hygiene, starting with a tool called PGP, or Pretty Good Privacy. Vendors post public encryption keys, which buyers use to scramble delivery data into ciphertext. Only the vendor's private string can reverse this. This same infrastructure prevents account hijacking. The marketplace issues an encrypted challenge. Users must decipher it locally to prove their identity. Quantitative analysis of Darknet markets reveals that PGP functions as a costly professional signal. It demonstrates technical competence to potential buyers. Vendors who visibly list their PGP keys and use these security terms in their profiles operate at significantly larger scales, maintaining roughly twice as many listings as those who do not. Navigating these cryptographic protocols introduces massive friction. There are no password resets or customer service desks. If a user loses their private string or mnemonic phrase, they permanently lose access to their identity and any deposited funds. The steep learning curve acts as a filter. Technical competence becomes a verifiable proxy for overall reliability, keeping amateur actors out of the market. Reputation and communication secure the initial agreement, but executing the actual trade requires a mechanism to mitigate counterparty risk. The original solution was centralized escrow. This flowchart illustrates the centralized process. When a buyer places an order, their cryptocurrency is sent to a central wallet controlled entirely by market administrators. The funds sit in trust until the buyer confirms delivery, at which point the market releases payment to the seller. This architecture required absolute, blind trust. Users had to believe that the market operators would arbitrate disputes honestly and would not steal the aggregated funds. The fragility of this system was exposed when the FBI seized Silk Road 1.0. Law enforcement captured the centralized wallets, resulting in the immediate loss of all user funds held in escrow. But a secondary internal threat quickly emerged. Administrators of subsequent markets began executing exit scams, voluntarily shutting down their own platforms and stealing the central wallets for themselves. These hard interventions, both police raids and administrator theft, sparked a community-wide demand for structural innovation. Users refused to leave their phones in centralized market wallets. Centralization in an illegal digital market creates an irresistible single point of failure, making the platform highly vulnerable to both law enforcement and its own operators. To eliminate that single point of failure, markets adopted 2 of 3 multi-signature escrow. As this diagram demonstrates, multisig utilizes a Bitcoin pay-to-script hash. This script effectively freezes the funds until any 2 of the 3 authorized signatures from the buyer, the vendor, or the market are broadcast to the network. In a successful transaction, the buyer confirms receipt. The buyer and the vendor both sign the transaction, releasing funds directly to the vendor without the market administrator ever touching the assets. If a package is lost and the vendor agrees to a refund, the buyer and the market sign the transaction. The funds are then signed back to the buyer's origin address. Multisig ensures that no single party, Not the buyer, not the vendor, or the market administrator can unilaterally move or steal the funds. The strict mathematical security of multisig is frequently subverted by a feature designed entirely for vendor convenience, known as Finalize Early, or FE. Finalize Early allows trusted vendors to bypass the escrow buffer completely. The moment an order is placed, the buyer's cryptocurrency is sent directly into the vendor's wallet. This shifts 100% of the counterparty risk back onto the buyer. By finalizing early, the buyer relinquishes their right to the market's dispute mechanisms. Malicious actors exploit this system by executing networks of fake purchases. They provide artificial 1.0 positive ratings to their own fraudulent accounts to quickly build the reputation required to unlock finalize early privileges. These same organized agents simultaneously weaponize the rating system against legitimate competitors, flooding them with fake 0.0 ratings to drive them off the platform and monopolize the market. Once a fraudulent vendor secures finalize early status and collects direct payments, they simply stop shipping products. Buyers are left with zero recourse. Technical security protocols fail when human behavior is incentivized to abandon them in favor of convenience. Even when users adhere strictly to the 2 of 3 multi-sig model, a hidden architectural flaw remains: administrator trust concentration. Because the market administrator holds the third tie-breaking key, they retain ultimate arbitration power over every disputed transaction on the platform. This power is magnified by the automated timer loophole. To prevent funds from being permanently locked by unresponsive buyers, markets implement a mechanism to auto-release the assets. After a set period, if no dispute is raised, the system allows the market administrator to sign the funds over to the vendor unilaterally. Corrupt administrators exploit this exact window. They wait for a period of high-volume trading when escrow balances are at their peak. Instead of signing the payment to the vendor, administrators can use their signature to reroute those funds to their own external addresses. As long as the market acts as the tiebreaker, the ecosystem relies on human arbitration and cannot be considered a truly decentralized system. This vulnerability has created the exit scam as a business model. Operators of major platforms deliberately orchestrate their own shutdowns. They build the market to its peak popularity, aggregate massive amounts of cryptocurrency in escrow, and then steal it all at once. Statistically, platform operator greed poses a much higher threat to users than external interventions. More funds are lost to administrators executing exit scams than to law enforcement seizing servers. This persistent threat of betrayal continually erodes platform viability. To avoid leaving funds in escrow, users are forced into even riskier off-market deals. Mathematics can successfully obfuscate a user's physical identity and secure their communications, but it cannot enforce total behavioral accountability. Anonymous commerce only achieves true long-term stability when trust is mathematically distributed through independent arbitration and decentralized network oversight.